SIV. Without Forum SIV, the results that we have achieved under your leadership would not have been possible. And the support also that has been extended to us by the 2 counties. The training institutions, and these are really broad, these are the technical training institutions. The program has worked very closely with business development service providers, with financial service providers, and the whole range of private sector. And Isaac, when you asked that we introduce ourselves, I had to check how many are we. But that was really important, just to get a feel of who is in the room. And the range of private sector that the program has been able to mobilize is really proof that for inclusive economic growth, we need to have the kind of private sector voices that we have in this program and that we've had speak during the introduction. For the ILO, the PPDP has been a proof of concept, because we keep talking about, everyone talks about PPDP. Let's have a PPDP. Is it in transport? Let's have a PPDP. Is it in health? In all sectors. But cracking that partnership is often the challenge, because private sector works in a different way from we who are in multilaterals, from those of us who are in government. And so finding the soft spot, or that soft area where we can all work together towards results, is key. And where else is this more important than in the promotion of economic growth? And that, of course, means jobs. And this is something that we've seen, and we hope to extend in the future in other sectors as well. There's been, of course, energy, green energy, renewable energy has been a main focus to a great extent, but there are also other areas where we can pursue public-private partnerships. And just the ability of private sector to bring in their money into the program, because they see the benefits of it. If it is the employers and enterprises, they need skilled workers, and they understand that if they do not support the development of those skilled workers, then it has an impact on the productivity of their enterprises. And so that proof of concept has showed us that in every corner of this country, not just in the 2 countries where we had to work to prove concept, this is possible. And it is our hope that the model as is can be replicated with the private sector, but also with government resources in other parts of the countries. And because I'm keen to hear what the other partners have to say, allow me to end it here. And I hope I'm really looking forward to the next 1.5 days to really get a good feel of where the partners are and what are the lessons that we'll be taking away from this. Thank you very much. And let's all have a really fantastic day. It's a beautiful day in Naivasha. Thank you.
Thank you, Caro. Yes. Thank you, Caro. Now it's my pleasure, sincere honor, to start off so we get address from our leaders. The last 1 month, I've been listening and watching 3 people, their speech. One is Malema from South Africa. I know why you are laughing, our labor commissioner. Number 2 person I've been watching or listening to his speech is a Kenyan called Professor PLO Lumumba. And then the third one is a lady called Michelle Obama, the former immediate First Lady, US. And one thing that I picked from what I've been listening to, the clips I've been listening from them, is leadership transforms attitude. And leadership can transform any aspect of intervention that you want to have. If it were not for the leaders we have today, sincerely speaking, Jackson can tell you, the kind of journey we've had, and Caroline has just mentioned briefly, it's been tough. It's been tough. But because of the support and the strong leadership that we've enjoyed from the private sector, from excellencies, your offices and your government, and strongly from our friends, SIDA, then we have been able to get where we are. So with humility, allow me to welcome the Secretary General Forum SIV to come and address us. Karibu sana, Ana. Let us clap for her.
Good morning. That's better, isn't it? Yes. Your Excellency, Honorable David Combs, Deputy Governor of Nakuru County Government, Your Excellency, Honorable Tamerlane Koek, Deputy Governor of Narok Country Government, Annika Otterstedt, Councillor, Head of Section for Kenya Development Corporation, Swedish Embassy here in Kenya, Ellen Apoyo, Labour Commissioner, Minister of Labour and Social Protection, Brother Benson Okwaro, Deputy Secretary, Central Organization of Trade Unions, Kenya, Eric Monunjubu, representing Executive Director, Federation of Kenya Employees, and Jelos Shirove, representing ILO, Director, Country Office for United Republic of Tanzania, Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. Members of the county assemblies from Narok and Nakuru county governments, county executive committee members, government officials from national county governments, ILO and FirmCiv staff members, and distinguished PPDP project partners. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again to you. My name is Anna Stenvinkel, and we can have a sort of a pronunciation of my surname as well in the break, can we? And I'm the Secretary General of FirmCiv. That will be the largest platform in Sweden, containing over 200 member organizations from civil society. I'm very happy being here today, representing FirmCiv at this forum, where experience and knowledge will be shared. But I'm not only here as a representative. Most of all, I'm here to listen and to learn. For me to have the opportunity to meet all of you from public and private sector and civil society and listen to your experiences, your progress, impact made and lessons learned, that is very valuable. The results you have made truly is part of FirmCiv striving for creating a just and sustainable world where all people have the power to affect change. Within FirmCiv, we are working towards several strategic goals. One of them is developing innovative and more effective ways of working for democracy and human rights. And this is corresponding very well with the work we are going to talk more about during these days, where we are looking for synergies in this collaboration with public, private, and civil society actors. This cross-sectoral approach is something we need to have much more of, and this would provide us with much better activities and results. The innovative approaches within programs in regional office ESA for Eastern Southern Africa, is applied by PPDP, but also another program called Pay to Poop. That shows models of how we can engage in non-traditional partnership that provides inclusive growth while adhering to global human rights, and at the same time see the nexus between human rights and businesses. Oh, some nice music there as well. Great. The program and activities within Regional Office ESA is not only of great importance and inspirations to the whole of FirmCiv within the 3 regional offices we have, the 2 country offices we have, and together with members in over 70 countries around the world, but it's also of great importance for civil society as a whole in Sweden. By enhancing learning between members, partner organizations, FirmCiv's own programs, we strengthen capacity and efficiency throughout the platform and in civil society as such. Finding these win-win activities for the challenges we face is our collective responsibility. I am very proud that FirmCiv can present a model demonstrating how to involve those affected by the challenges by using an approach like the rights way forward. We know that sustainable change only can be achieved if all people can own it, especially the affected communities. The challenges in the world, this volatile world with which we live today, is very, very severe. There is a war going on in Ukraine, and we should of course help out. But there is also a severe situation in the rest of the world. We have the situation in Sudan, Myanmar, Syria, and I can go on and on and on, and the list can be very long. And this at the same time as there is an emergency situation with climate change and the backsliding for democracy, with shrinking democratic civic space in many countries. These challenges make our work more important than ever. We need to continue to put a lot of energy into it and find new ways of creating impact, both from lessons learned and from innovations. It is of particular importance to include a focus on marginalized groups and have an intersectional perspective in this work. It is also necessary to challenging a surviving colonial thinking in development cooperation. The new government in Sweden wants to reform big parts of the development aid sector. And it's of course good to develop and make improvements, but you also need to take the experience, knowledge, and lessons learned into account to make sure that you are not losing the long-term work that has been built up. In my role, not only as Secretary General for Forum Civ, but also as being part of networks, groups, meetings, I will share all the impact and positive results programs like PPDP achieves. Forum Civ will keep on advocating for a generous and effective Swedish development cooperation. The perspectives and experiences of our partner organizations contribute to this work in a unique way. I would like to conclude by thanking ILO and the Embassy of Sweden for all the support you have given in this program. And also, of course, a warm and the biggest thank you to all of you partners who are part of this very fruitful work within PPDP. Thank you for your attention. I will now continue to listen and learn so I can be the best of advocate for this work when I'm coming back home. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anna. We can appreciate her better than that. Thank you so much. Of course, it's a learning, and so as they make remarks, it's part of the knowledge sharing. So we are also getting one or two ideas that we need to put into consideration. Again, with humility, allow me to welcome my boss, Jelas Chirove, to come and address us. He is now in charge of the East Africa. Karibu, JC.
Thank you, Isaac. Director of Ceremonies, let me recognize the presence of our guests of honor, Honorable Deputy Governor David Kones from Nakuru, Honorable Tumalinye Koech from Narok, Deputy Governor Narok, our sister Annika representing the Ambassador of Sweden, Brother Eric representing FKE, Sister Helen Apio representing the PS, Ministry of Labor, just the last speaker, Anna from Forum Civ, who has come, I think, who has traveled the greatest distance to come here just for this event. Our great friend, Lena from the Embassy. Let me also say representatives from the private sector partners and all the other PPDP partners who are here. My colleagues from ILO are led by Caroline and the whole team from PPDP. Good morning. Today is 9 May 2023. But I want to talk about the day that was 10 May 2018. 10th of May 2018. It is a very significant day in the context of this project, in the life of this project, actually. And the day, it was a morning that happened at the Embassy of Sweden. We had Her Excellency the Ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, at Jadfeld, Ambassador Jadfeld, Anna. Yes, and Sister Sandra Dizu, Head of Cooperation. We had our Director, Wellington Chibebe. We had two governors from Narok, Governor Tunai, and from Nakuru, Governor Lee Kinyanjui. On that day, 3 MOUs were signed. One was between AELO and the Embassy of Sweden, which is the overall framework for the collaboration. The second one was between AELO and Forum Civ for joint implementation of the project. And the third one was between AELO and the 2 governors, I think, the county government of Nakuru and the county government of Narok. The 2 governors were there. Today is just one day to make it 5 years exactly. And I know we wanted to do this forum before, and it didn't happen. But I think it is happening on a significant day, almost just one day to make it 5 years, this journey that we have walked. And the journey at the beginning was not very smooth. I have my brothers who are here. I saw them. Brother Ruto from Narok, yes, he's there, co-chair of the advisory committee, and Brother Kimemia, yes, they will tell you during tea break that the start of this journey was not smooth. Talking about this concept where you are bringing partners, especially government partners, and saying you are going to contribute to this cake that we want to make. So you are not coming necessarily to be beneficiaries. You are not among the beneficiaries. You are coming to make a contribution. Brother Kimemia, I remember we had come to Narok, I think 2-3 times. I don't want to go to the whole story, but fast forward to today, and actually today to this event we call knowledge sharing, says it means that we have traversed the journey and overcame those obstacles, for want of a better word, to a point where we say we have some knowledge to share about this concept of PPDP today. And we have called other people. We have also said, all the partners, can you come so that we can talk about this journey in which we have learned how to work together. I'm talking about walking as in walking. We have learned about how to accommodate each other in this journey. And we have learned about how to support each other. And if you are walking through a journey, where I come from, the lowest, is the right word, lowest, is the highest level of poverty is when you cannot be able to put relish on the table. So if there is a drought, your cows have died, and there are no greens in the garden, so you don't have relish. So the most basic type of relish in those circumstances is these roasted groundnuts. So you roast groundnuts, you eat them with ugali, and you drink water, and you sleep. That's dinner. So our journey, we learned how to accommodate each other and share the little that we had. But it wasn't little. Let me just correct you there, because we had great friends in the Embassy of Sweden who said, we are going to provide you with a package for you to start this journey. this investment that we are giving you, so that whatever you need along the way, you find. You talk to other people, talk to each other, so that you can be able to reach the destination. So I want to thank Anika, I want to thank Lena, and also your previous colleagues who were working with very well for the generous financial support, which made the journey actually very light in the end. But not just for the financial support, but also for taking a very keen interest in the work and providing technical inputs and ideas into this project. We have worked with them up the mountains and the valleys of the geothermal areas, and we have traveled together, we have met partners, we have been to events of these programs, and it goes beyond financial support. And therefore, we are proud to say today we are here to share some of the experiences that we have. Some of the achievements. We think we have some achievements to share. And we also have some stories to share from the beneficiaries. We also have some lessons learned that whoever wants to take this model forward can also learn from. We have also some challenges, and I think they will come out. We cannot say there were no challenges. It will be false to say that. Let's talk about them, because they will also provide some learning points. But also, and importantly, if we are going to see what is possible to continue in one form or another, what can we take forward? What is it that we have done well? What is it that we can expand on? What is it that we can reduce on? What is it that has worked? And so on. So this is the PPDP story that we are going to listen to. And I know there are so many speakers. I want to leave my remarks here and to thank you and the whole team that was here, led by the two gentlemen, and I know there are also Madam Apio chairing steering committee, and also the representatives from the county governments in the steering committee. As you see, there are so many people speaking. Please bear with us, because it's a partnership, and it is like that. There is no one person who will say PPDP, I'm the one who implemented, and it is like this. So it is because of those partners who have taken an interest and who contributed in many ways, one way or another, to the program, that we are going to discuss what the PPDP has become since 5 years ago. Thank you very much, and looking forward to a great discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, JC. We normally call him JC. Anika, you know, Caro was avoiding your name, the second one. I also avoided our Secretary General's second name. So if you want to avoid JC's name and complication, just call him JC instead of Jealous Chirove. I told someone, my boss is called Jealous Chirove, and he looked at me like, did you just miss the name? So call him JC, and he's really been supportive. What Jealous has said is true. Allow us and bear with us. We have so many speakers because it's not about one person. It's about everybody. It's a partnership. And so with that, allow me first to mention that the Deputy Secretary General for KOTU is conducting some negotiation, a collective bargaining agreement negotiation for KBC, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, and he has told me he will be here at 2 in the afternoon. So we will have him give us his remarks. Amos, so with humility, allow me to proceed to Eric Munyobi, who is representing the Chief Executive Officer and the Director of the Federation of Kenya Employers, Jacqueline Mugo. Karibu sana, Eric. Let us appreciate Eric.
Wow, I didn't know there were so many people in the room. From up here is when you realize there are quite many. The chief guests, the two deputy governors, Narok and Nakuru County, the Labor Commissioner, Helen Opio, the project partners, Forum Civ, ILO as the chief implementing partner, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning again. Where I come from, they say you have to greet people twice, not once. So I think I've fulfilled that. Receive warm greetings from the Federation of Kenya Employers. My name is Eric Munyobi. I'm in charge of consulting and training as the manager in charge of that process. I'm here to represent our Chief Executive Officer, our CEO, Madam Jacqueline Mugo, who until last evening was actually destined to be here, but because of other pressing needs, she was not able to be here. And incidentally, I happened to be coming here also in another role later in the afternoon. So she asked me to speak or give some remarks on her behalf. And because of that, I'll be very brief because I'm not Jacqueline Mugo. I'm only representing her. Ladies and gentlemen, in line with the FKE's constitution, the Federation is mandated to be part of the ILO tripartite mechanism in Kenya, which of course has the government of Kenya as the core, providing the enabling environment. And on the other side, we have our partners, the Secretary General of KOTU you've heard, he'll be coming, that is KOTU, and then FKE. So those three form the tripartite mechanism, which is as recommended by ILO. And we are here in that capacity. The Federation is the apex employers body in Kenya with wide representation on various statutory boards and other institutions such as NSSF, NITA, HELB, NEA is the National Employment Authority, and of course the recently constituted National Labor Board. Thank you, Madam Opio, for that facilitation. So we actually represent and sit on quite a number of important organizations in this country to facilitate matters labor relations. As such, the Federation participates in various initiatives to strengthen industry, promote employment and livelihoods, and in particular, the creation of decent jobs. We are very, very keen on the issue of decent jobs, not just any jobs, decent jobs that promote livelihoods and reduce unemployment. In regard to the present forum, the Federation was involved right from inception to implementation. And I recall very well in 2018, I was with Madam Caroline Njuki in Kakuma when I received a call from Isaac and my head office that I need to come to Naivasha. I remember, I think it was Masada Hotel when I joined the team in 2018. So we have been involved in this project right from the beginning as FKE, and we have walked the journey. So the story, my brother JC, I can pronounce your name, Jealous Chirove. The story which he has said is true. The journey has been interesting with many observations and many learnings and a bit of challenges here and there, which will form the part of the knowledge sharing today. So it's been a good journey, and we're going to speak about it for today and tomorrow. The Federation of Kenya Employers has received good reports about this public-private development project or partnership as a pilot program, and the reports have been very good. And my CEO told me to really pass those kind of sentiments to the organizing committee and everybody who has been involved, that the journey may have been tough, difficult, but the reports coming out are good. It is therefore our firm belief that this knowledge sharing forum will provide an opportunity of better understanding of the project achievements. Again, JC talked about the achievements, challenges encountered, and any spin-off opportunities. Because from where we are, we need to look at the positive side of things and look at the opportunities and grab them and move on. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, the Federation remains committed to the tripartite mechanism, and we shall continue to support ILO, the national government, as well as the county governments. And in this instance, the two county governments represented here, Narok and Nakuru, we shall support your initiatives on this. Isaac, Mr. JC, Madam Opio, we do pray, and our partners for AMSIV, we do pray that maybe funds could be available to scale up this program to other counties as well. FKE will remain committed to support that and mobilize employers in those counties to work with this on this program. In this current program, we have had many employers, which we shall be talking about in the afternoon, and therefore I conclude by saying thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you, Eric. Eric co-chairs the Project Skills Technical Working Group, the committee that devised us on the kind of skills the private sector want for the last 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, allow me to now proceed and invite our able Labour Commissioner, Madam Ellen Apio, who is also the chair of the steering committee which makes decisions on behalf of this particular project. Let us welcome our Labour Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governor of Nakuru County, His Excellency Honorable David Kones, the Deputy Governor of Narok County, His Excellency Honorable Tamilinia Koach, the Councillor, Head Section for Kenya Development Corporation, the Swedish Embassy, Kenya, Madam Anika. I'll avoid pronouncing your second name, and I hope you understand the challenge. The Deputy Secretary Generals for COTU, the Central Organization of Trade Unions in Kenya, in absentia, Brother Benson Okwaro, the representative of the CEO and Executive Director of the Federation of Kenya Employers, Mr. Eric Munyobi, the representative of the ILO Director, the Country Office for United Republic of Tanzania, Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda, Mr. Jelas Shirove, Madam Caroline Juki, the ILO rep, Kenya, the Secretary General Forum CIB, Madam Anna, again, I'll avoid her second name, members of the county assemblies for Narok and Nakuru County governments who are here, the county executive committee members present for both Nakuru and Narok counties who are here, government officials drawn from different ministries but who are here, distinguished PPD project partners who are here. Good morning. Good morning again. I'm told this forum we must say it twice. So good morning. Thank you. That sounds better. Your Excellencies, my name is Helen Apio. I'm the Acting Commissioner for Labor, and it's my privilege and pleasure to be with you today in this particular forum. I stand I'm in two capacities. One, as mentioned by Isaac, as the chair of the National Steering Committee for the project, but I also stand in to represent the Ministry of Labor. As mentioned earlier, my Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Florence Bore, that is the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, was keen on coming until yesterday. Then plans became very difficult because she has to attend the burial of the Honorable Minister for Labor, Employment and Industrial Relations for the Republic of Uganda, who is her counterpart and with whom they've worked with very closely. That is Colonel Charles Okello Engola, who passed on last week in tragic circumstances, and who, as a government, we regret and feel very sorry about his loss. So in solidarity with the people of Uganda, the Honorable Minister will be traveling today to join in those arrangements. And with that, dear members, Your Excellency, I will request, we did sing the national anthem, not of Kenya alone, but for the East African community, that we may arise and observe 1 minute of silence in honor of the fallen minister. Thank you. You may be seated. May the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. Your Excellencies, as I said, the public-private development partnership program is an important program that was launched in 2019 and 18, one that was launched with the support and the collaboration of the government of Kenya, and the social partners. The social partners, the representative of employers and workers at the highest level did attend that particular occasion. And I do remember we had His Excellency, Lee Kinyajui from Nakuru County, and we also had His Excellency from Narok County. And for us, that is a unique gesture that this is a program that is supported at all levels. And it is an important program that draws in partnership of all actors, as opposed to many programs that the government has run in partnership with the ILO, where we only have the national government. This program is also very important in focusing on the local communities and local enterprise. And it is important in that it tries to maximize and optimize in terms of knowledge, building knowledge, and also tapping in local knowledge and capacities. It also looks into the issue of ownership of the different actors, and which is key and in terms of sustainability of projects and programs. The Public-Private Development Partnership Project aims to reduce poverty and to improving living conditions through decent work and access to rights-based services among rural populations and Great Rift Valley. It achieves this through different strategies, and that is one, decent jobs resulting from relevant and quality skills provided by selected vocational training centers and other training institutions. It also seeks to realize this through growing new businesses and creating new ones. It also seeks to improve community participation through lobbying for increased access to public and social services, and also seeks to find the duty bearers to be engaged in this particular program. It also seeks to strengthen project management and coordination. This is done through the National Steering Committee and other structures in place. Your Excellency, this program has been key in realizing certain achievements in terms of job creation. It has focused on micro and small enterprises, as well as engaged communities, And there are decent jobs that have resulted out of this. From our count, we have 900 decent jobs opportunities provided for through a partnership, a tripartite partnership of private and public partners in the program. We also have trained 800 trainees on workplace-based training mentorship, life skills and employability skills with private and public partners. We also have 700 graduates who have transitioned in self-employment within 12 months of graduation. And also, we've also had 1,500 graduates who have been certified from various vocational training institutions who are participating in this program. Through this program, we've been able to realize much success in terms of our initiative as the government, in terms of promoting employment. And this is through the different actors, particularly the private enterprises, in providing financial resources in terms of meeting the training costs, but also imparting essential skills that are required in industries within the locality. It has also helped in resolving a lot of problems, problem solving between not just the tripartite, between the employers and workers within industries, but also in diffusing tensions between industries or industries as well as local communities, because you have a forum that provides social engagement and social dialogue between the different players. The program has also been key in expanding employment, in expanding markets in terms of goods and services that are developed or produced by the different enterprises, the local community-based organizations, as well as the upcoming enterprises. And with this, as a national government, we are very grateful that this program really comes into bridging the gap in terms of our policy initiatives, but also strategies to try and bring everybody on board. More importantly, it has reached out to persons, to the youth, and especially young girls who have graduated and are unable to find employment within the formal sector. But we have, in which case then we have many being included in terms or in the economy. Further, Your Excellencies, we've been able to have enterprises that have been started surviving beyond 12 months. And you know that is a real achievement, and a real achievement in terms of economic development. We also have jobs created within the green economy, which is also an important area of focus and which has not been previously given much priority within policy discourse. But within this project, that has also been a key area of focus. There's the issue of community member being trained on their rights, as well as labor rights within the industries. Your Excellencies, as I conclude, I just want to state that as the Ministry of Labor, we remain very much committed and dedicated to seeing this project and with a possible opportunity of an extension or of phase 2, of having a phase 2 of this particular project. As a ministry, we have a Decent Work Country program, and which is a national program, a program which is key in terms of mobilization of resources, but also in terms of mobilizing technical assistance for the country. It is a program which was launched in 2018, in 2021, and which we are at this particular juncture trying to review to see if then we can incorporate new ideas and new ideas which I believe can be drawn from the experiences of this particular program. The program looks at social protection, it looks at employment and skills development. It also looks at the area of social dialogue. Those three areas are the key areas of focus, and which really aligns well with the objectives of this particular program of public-private partnership. And it is a program that we would encourage that this particular project be look into. And I'm saying this because we have the particular needs and interests of the two countries, which then can be brought on board. Then, Your Excellency, as we review that particular program, I think also as we look at the PDP program, we need to also review it to see if it aligns with the current development program, that is the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which is expected to run from 2022 to 2027. And we see if this particular program it will be aligned to that. And I think at a quick glance, I think there are certain areas that we need to align. And I just want to say that this program focuses on communities and those who are disadvantaged in community. The bottom-up economic approach also focuses on the masses, and therefore you can see an immediate alignment between the National Development Program as well as this particular one. If then we should have phase 2, and that is Your Excellencies together with the Royal Government of Sweden, then we need to look at the possibility of expanding the program to extend beyond Narok and Nakuru County. We are talking about the Great Rift Valley, which is a very expansive territory. And we are talking about the Middle Rift and South Rift. Maybe we could explore expanding it or extending it to Lodwar, that county. Their challenges are not are similar to those that are encountered in Nakuru and Naivasha and Narok County. And I think in terms of spreading the gains, I think that is an area that as a team we need to look into. Then we also would like to draw your attention to the areas of focus under the bottom-up economic approach to look at engagement of the youth, the target group, in the digital economy space. This is an area which is a novel area, but one that is real in terms of creating more opportunities for employment. We could have more that aspect incorporated in the program. Then during the introduction, I did hear about the Kenya law reform, who are also part of us in this particular forum. I think it would be very important that we also look into the area of legislative framework. As a ministry and as we are looking at the review of the existing labor laws and labor laws which then affects everybody, whether you work in the formal economy or the informal economy. And I know as at the local level, the county levels, you may be engaged in developing legislation to that effect. And I think this is an area as a ministry would be keen in partnering with the partners within program, but also at the national level. I think it's, for us, it will be very easy because we have the key drivers of this reform, and that is the tripartite, the workers, employers, and government. So as again, I wish to close, I just want to say, Your Excellency, we are very grateful that you are able to find time within your very busy schedule to be with us. It is an encouragement to us that you remained very much engaged in this particular program. And for us, it is a very important project at the national level that we have the country directly engaged at the policy level in terms of advisory process and that is well laid out in the national structure of the National Steering Committee and the advisory structure. I think I would be failing if I did not thank our partner from the Swedish Embassy for being very, very generous and supportive over the years, and for having made it possible for us to run this program since 2018. And it is our prayer as the national government that we have a phase 2 in this, and which at my personal level, I do believe is possible. It is also our sincere gratitude to Forum CIV for being with us and actually breathing in bring in new ideas that we can have an international umbrella body working with us together with the civil society, because as government sometimes we are not able to reach out to everybody, but through you you've been able to mobilize the local communities, the community-based organizations. So for us, we are sincerely grateful for that. Then of course the International Labour Organization, we are thankful that we are the members of the ILO, but remain very grateful that we have this project. And it is our desire that we continue this particular program. It's a project, but I want to make it a program. I want to suggest we have a program, and therefore we have phase 2. And I think our sentiments were well expressed during the evaluation of this particular project. Of course, last but not least, of course, we have the partners who are drawn from different community organizations, but also government organizations, different ministries, who have remained very engaged and passionate in driving it and having the program run for 5 years without stalling, despite the many challenges we've had, challenges that were mentioned by Chirove, but also we have the hardships that we've encountered as a country. We have COVID-19, and we have various others. And I think with that, we need to give ourselves a resounding clap to say congratulations for the partnership under the PPDP. So last but not least, Your Excellencies, allow me to just ask the members of the National Steering Committee, I think I'll be failing, to just arise so that we recognize them for the great effort they've made during the life of this particular project. Kindly arise, the members of the National Steering Committee. Wherever you may be seated. Isaac, you're not standing? Hello? You're the secretary? Yes. But we do have the social partners. We have the CEC. The CECs, I've seen one of them. Well, yes. But we have the CEC. Yes, from Narok and from Nakuru County. I think that one has got it. So I think, Your Excellency, this is the team that is behind this particular event. It is the team that has worked tirelessly to see that we reach here. And I think without their sacrifice and dedication, there's one member who is not here, my co-chair, that is Dr. Opore, Maisha Opore, from the Ministry of Education. I think without their effort, their sacrifice, it calls for time, it calls for dedication, it sometimes at the expense of your family, and they've made it to this point. So I'll just want to extend my gratitude and say thank you very much, but also I request that we give them a round of applause. So with those many remarks, Your Excellency, I just want to say thank you very much, and I look forward to the engagement that we have for the rest of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our Labour Commissioner. Let us appreciate her much better than that. Also to confirm that though they did not stand, but the Embassy of Sweden sits in that steering committee as observer. So they are part of the family. And we have not reconstituted because we have some bit of changes within the government. The Nakuru Nakuru were given Waziri Zipora, and we are yet to finalize the official communication so then we can move from there. The Labour Commissioner has appreciated our embassy, and with humility, allow me to now welcome the head section for Kenya Development Corporation, our great friend Anika, to come and address us on behalf of our donor, our partner, and the Embassy of Kenya through the support we've gotten in this project. Let us appreciate Anika as she comes.
Well, I don't know whether to say good morning or a good day, but anyhow, it's lovely to be here, and I can really feel that there is so much energy going on in this room. So I would like to see a little bit of shaking your bodies and just feeling that we're here together. And instead of saluting everybody, I want to say really appreciation for the Narok and the Nakuru counties for both being here with their deputies, also the commissioner, of course, and everybody representing the different partners from the trade labor unions, from the civil society, from CIV, ILO, everybody engaging in this interesting and catalytic program that we have developed together with you, and where we see so many results in terms of job creation, education, vocational training, and not the least the partnership between the county governments and the representatives of the government, and also the different women and men that engage fully in trying to acquire new skills. And I think what is so important with this program, which is supposed to be catalytic and innovative, and is so, is that it is on a scale which is in 2 counties, is trying to bring parties together to acquire something new, which can, as we've heard, be transferred and used in other counties in Kenya. So what we would like to see, myself and my colleague Lena, who is the responsible person for handling this program from the Swedish Embassy, is to, of course, see how can we upscale the findings, how can we upscale the learnings from this program. And what we would like to see is, of course, to include a little bit more, perhaps, the perspectives of environment and climate change in both the education but also in the work that we do together to ensure that all the skilled labor that will come out of this program and all the dialogues that we have will also be based upon an understanding of that inclusive growth also needs to be based upon a green perspective. It needs to be based upon the understanding of that climate change is here and it will worsen. Natural resources degradation is also here, and if we do not use every single moment that we have in all work at all levels in a country such as Kenya, we will not see that difference coming. Having said that, it is as important, of course, to ensure that the social conditions, that gender equality is also as present. And that is why I think this program is really interesting, because it is both incorporating young people, it is incorporating men and women, it is incorporating, I would hope at least, the understanding and the deep knowledge that some of the older people in Nakuru and Narok have. All those skills and all those historic capabilities that they have acquired, they should not be forgotten. They should be used in this type of innovative program. I also think that you cannot do anything, or Sweden cannot support any development in any county if we do not have the support of very good and very skilled partners such as ILO and the Forum Civ, But also, and ever, more so important, is of course the county governments. We cannot work anywhere, we cannot support anything in Kenya if we do not have the government of Kenya and the county governments with us, because it's your country, it's your people, and it's your decisions. So what we can do is, of course, to support the changes that you want to see in order to develop your counties. And I think that Narok and Nakuru counties are so interesting because they both incorporate a lot of different people, indigenous communities, people still living, with very small resources, but you also have cities that are developing at a high speed. You also have some of the most famous national parks, wildlife in Kenya, very close to your city centers. So it is, of course, I would say, important now that Kenya wants to be a leader of climate change and environment in Africa, with the climate summit coming up in September, to try to link what is so important within increased labor skills, increased employability, sustainability in preserving those jobs, but also all the time creating new opportunities. And new opportunities will come to these counties if we manage to work together and to see how do we support the creation of decent jobs, as well as jobs that are based upon the private sector, which is taking environment and climate change seriously. How can we, Sweden, as partners to you, ensure that we also support this program, or otherwise the counties, with new technology, linkages to research programs that are also going on in this country, linking up to dialogues that are happening in other parts of the world, not only in Africa, but also in other parts of the world. And I think by working together with ILO and Forum Civ, we have all those opportunities, because both those partners, they are represented all over the world, and also many places in Kenya. So I think that is one of the advantages of working together, that we can both see what are the possibilities and the challenges in Narok and Nakuru at all different levels, from the teenage girl in one of the Maasai villages to up to the high level politicians and government officials at county level. But how can we use what we know from other parts of the country or the world to introduce a new understanding, new ways of working together, but also with financial support to ensure that this will happen? We believe that the private sector can come in even more specifically in supporting the development of skills. We think that it is in their own interest, because they need skilled labor. They need young women and men who will be able to contribute to the private sector development in those counties in the future. We also understand that the county governments are, of course, mostly interested in having a population which have, jobs which will help the county government to develop the counties in a sustainable way, where income will increase, but also will be based on principles of equity, sustainability, and inclusion. And I'm sure that both Nakuru and Narok could be examples that could be showcases for the government in Nairobi, also in many different occasions. For example, at the climate summit. Why not? Why not, show how, by working together, two counties can deliver upon both job creation, economic development, and sustainability. But perhaps also in the future, and that's something we might look into in the coming phase, could be to see how could these counties make even more use of the carbon credit financial mechanisms. That is an opportunity that all counties should be looking into, both in terms of job creation, but also in terms of income entering into the counties. So I think Sweden, I don't know if anybody here has been to Sweden apart from myself, Lena, Anna, and Jackson, and I don't know, Isaac. But if you can come, and that would be interesting if we could, develop such an exchange. You could come to Sweden and share your experiences here with 2 municipalities. That would be, very interesting for Swedes. It would also be interesting for you because you would probably see that there is a social contract between the business sector and the trade unions in Sweden, which have been very much a success story in terms of all players within the labor market coming together and understanding that together we can create prosperity with a dialogue which is constructive. We can both present challenges but also solutions. And I think this program might also be a key factor in creating an even better understanding between the different parties, but also including the perspective of green growth. So with those words, I need to say that I'm very happy that we were invited. We're happy to see that this program is able to attract many very important persons who have been and will continue to be parts of this joint program. And if you have ideas which you think nobody else have thought of, you can always come to us also at the embassy with new ideas, new perspectives, and we can see how we can develop them further. So thank you, and looking forward to learning even more today, and also to listening to my colleague Lena's presentation on what this program is all about. Thank you so much, and see you again.
We can appreciate Annika in a better way. Excellencies, our DGs, when Annika was inviting us to Sweden, I was expecting a clap, and I didn't get that. So JC and I will discuss with Jackson whether those of us who are excited about that invitation, DG, whether we can go, and those who did not clap, we can wait for another knowledge sharing forum. They clap, and then we can invite them. But thank you so much, Annika. We sincerely appreciate the support that we've gotten. We worked very well with Lena. Lena has been very supportive. And true to what JC said, we had an opportunity to go to the field, you remember? And we're also planning another one, so then you can see the transformation that has happened since then. And also the way communities in both Nakuru and Narok counties have managed to maneuver through the tough moments that were created by the COVID pandemic. We have 2 great people who are waiting to speak to us, and allow me to kindly request all of us just to stand, stretch a bit, just stand, stretch a bit. Just stretch, and then you can take your seat. You can take your seats. Thank you so much for obeying. Annika has also said if you have ideas, you can take them to us, and you can also, if it's an idea that you think has never been done to someone else, I mean by anybody, then you can also share with the Swedish embassy. I also want to say if you want a song to be played for you, you can also get in touch with Titus Courier, because I've already gotten a request from one of our dignitaries to be played a song when he's coming to present. I will not tell you who that person is, but we are to join in singing that song when she's coming to present. But Your Excellency, let me invite His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Narok County Government, Honorable Koech, to come and address us. Asante sana, Your Excellency, for being with us and also accepting our invitation. And let us appreciate His Excellency as he comes to address us. Karibu sana.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Nakuru, His Excellency Kones, head of section for Kenya Development Corporation, Anika, acting Labor Commissioner Helen, representative of the ILO Caroline, MCS, members of the county assemblies present both from Nakuru and Narok, CEOs both from Nakuru and Narok, CCs, our implementing partners present, and all protocols observed. Good morning. I am Tamali Nyekoech, the Deputy Governor, Narok County, representing His Excellency Patrick Olentutu. I'm extremely delighted to join this forum, bringing on board the integration of the public and private sector, in particular, a conversation scaled on achieving the economic agenda of the country, precisely trickled down to the devolved units of governance, the counties. On the same note, I appreciate and thank the founders of those driving this maiden agenda. Narok County government has been part of this public-private development partnership project since the time it was launched on 22nd November 2018. The county government committed Narok and Nairekiangare vocational training centers to be model partner vocational training center for the county. The PPDB project provided us with industrial sewing machines which were used during COVID period to make face masks for the county. Hence, jobs were created for young people at the vocational training centers. The county government in 2022 graduated a total of 544 trainees from both vocational training centers. Jobs have been created through the demand-driven courses by the project, as well as the ILO's Start and Improve Your Businesses Entrepreneurship training programs. To date, the county government has made a total of USD 71,000 in financial resources of USD 813,575. The government co-financed Naivasha is a netto water project. The government again established and relocated Suswa Health Center in Suswa to provide easy access to health care by the community. The county government has improved the infrastructure of both Narok and Nairekiangare vocational training centers for the county. Again, our students are accessing internship programs from the private sector. Again, the collaboration to the enactment of the county policy towards eradication of FGM has been achieved. We are then looking forward as a county government to commit ourselves to partnership in this important project. I am cognizant as far as concerned that the parameters sanctioned by the government is directly or indirectly felt by the private sector, and those under the scheme thus needs to have a robust conversation to create a conducive environment to foster good relationship between the private and the public sector in order to realize a revitalizing economy and sound working environment to the labor force. This task worth noting, appreciating that this foundation has fought its discourse in having conjoined efforts to create opportunities to the thousands of citizens to utilize their skills zeroing unemployment rate linearly and progressively. In conclusion, since the county government of Narok and the partners and Nakuru County government have signed an MOU, and that means we have no option but to do what we are supposed to do. I am then looking forward to a better discussion and a fruitful engagement as we discuss on these roles of BBDP in this forum. With those few remarks, thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much, DG. We sincerely appreciate, and Narok has also been very supportive. I think we started getting water for the community that side first, and then now we are concluding with Nakuru County. Now, allow me also, with a lot of humility and respect, it's my honor to welcome our DG, Nakuru County, Honorable David Kones, to come and address us. He is the host, and speak to your people. Let us appreciate him as he comes.
Thank you very much, my brother. Now, the representative of the CS Ministry of Labor and Social Service, the Anika, that is the Councillor Head of Section for Kenya Development Corporation, Swedish Embassy, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Narok County, that is my counterpart. Now allow me to say all other protocols observed, because I have got some difficult name I cannot pronounce. So, so you allow me to say all protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning once more. Now, maybe before I continue, I hope the master of ceremony, you saw me, I was clapping. So please put me in the list going there. You know, he might not have seen me, so I need to remind him I was clapping seriously there. So it is an honor to represent Nakuru County, the Governor, Her Excellency Susan Gihiga, and speak on our behalf of our county. I extend a warm welcome to our colleagues from Narok County Government and express our gratitude to the International Labour Organization and co-implementing partner, Forum CIV, for organizing this knowledge-sharing forum. Today, I'm proud to discuss the public-private development partnership implemented by the International Labour Organization and co-implemented by Forum CIV. This collaborative model between public and private sector actors aims to create sustainable business ventures that also uplift the living conditions of people living in poverty. In Nakuru County, we have partnered with other counties, PPDB, to tackle poverty, employment skills, gender inequality, and informal sector challenges. The PPDB has played a crucial role in promoting inclusive growth through decent work in the two counties. We have engaged communities, especially women and youth, in the mainstream economy and societal engagement through empowerment and voice. Private companies have become implementing partners, fostering sustainability, local ownership, and the exchange of expertise. Our partnership has yielded several positive outcomes. First, we have created decent jobs through relevant and quality skills provided by selected vocational training centers and other training institutions. Target communities have gained technical and soft skills, qualifications, and workplace experience to improve their employability. Through this approach, we have created employment opportunities for young people. The PPDB supports target communities to start and or to improve their income generating activities by building local capacity and facilitating skilled provision and income generating training. This has resulted in the creation of new and growing businesses, building local capacity and enabling the communities to become self-reliant. On the other hand, the BPDB has enhanced community participation by advocating for increased access to public and social services and ensuring also accountability in providing social services. We have empowered communities to access their rights and analyze communities' use of and control over public resources sustainably. The PPDB has strengthened project management and coordination by setting up project governance structures and putting together the project management team responsible for overall project implementation, reporting to partners and the donor. Nakuru County is proud to co-chair the Project Partnership Advisory Committee. In conclusion, the Nakuru County government is committed to promoting inclusive growth through this work and access to rights-based services among the rural population. Through the BPDB, we believe that we can achieve this goal and transform the lives of our people. We look forward to more partnerships and collaborations with other counties and stakeholders towards this noble goal. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our development partner, the Swedish Embassy, the International Labour Organization, and co-implementing partner, Forum CIVS, who have effectively coordinated the implementation of the BBDB project since 2018. Their efforts have had a significant impact on our communities, and we look forward to continuing this partnership to improve the lives of our people. As you all know, no one single person can develop himself or herself. We must always interact together where we can share our ideas and experiences so that we can learn more. Together, we can develop our counties and our country. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let us appreciate our DGs. This morning I requested them to humbly accept to be our chief guests, as much as they are the hosts of the project, and they willingly accepted. And thank you, DGs, for your sentiment and the support. When they talk like this, for those of us who are in the project, when they articulate issues which are in the project, then you can tell that we have real leaders in this. I am kindly requesting the band to take position, and the technical team to give me the presentation cable. And we are running quite behind schedule. We have a colleague of ours from Geneva who is online, and we were discussing with her whether that topic we can tackle it in a different way, because we are already out of time, and she needs to go to another meeting. That is Elma. I hope she can hear me. So what I've been advised to do is we are going to do what I've been advised is that we will only have the CEDA's presentation, and then we do a quick break, tea break, brief one. Then we come and I will advise you on the presentations that will be done after the tea break. So Lena had requested that we do a song for her. She will not be dancing, she will just walk as the song is being played. Lena has worked with us quite well. She's been our manager and our conduct at the embassy. And so we want to do a song, so as the song picks, then Lena can start walking to come and make the presentation. Band.
a little bit better? I lived in Mozambique, and this song was really popular. And I requested it by so many bands here in Kenya, they never play it. So that's why I'm so happy. Mafiki Solo, huh? Mafiki Solo. That's the group. Yeah, Mafiki Solo, for those who want to listen to it again sometime. Whew. Shall I start? And do I press? So, good morning, everyone, or good day. Time has flown this morning. Say it again, good day. My name is Lena Rupp. I work at the Embassy of Sweden. Overall approach to public-private development partnerships. So that's what I'm going to do here. And like Isaac said, we are a little bit behind schedule, so I try to be brief. So I will talk about the origin of the methodology, the global application experiences, lessons learned, and also briefly dive into our experiences from this particular project. So collaboration with the private sector or private companies in development cooperation is not new at all. It has been within SIDA's programs since the very start in the 1960s, but during the decades and over time it has taken different shapes, of course. In the early years, during the 1960s up to the 1990s, it was more in the form of traditional donor-funded projects, working within the industrial development of recipient countries, and where the private sector usually came in as technical assistance and not unusually providing vocational training related to different type of industries. Toward the end of the 2000s, we can see that the role of the private sector in development cooperation gradually has changed, and it has achieved greater recognition as a driver of development. And also, as we see in the Agenda 2030, the private sector's importance and role in development is really recognized. So nowadays, SIDA's private sector collaboration is a really important part of the partnerships, and we have different types of modalities that we apply. The public-private development partnership is one, and as we are talking about that today, we can also see that it is a proven model for effectiveness. We also have instruments like the challenge funds, and we can provide guarantees for lending and private sector investments, and we work constantly to design new types of innovative financing mechanisms. I should say that, as you all know, the Financing for Development agenda clearly states that ODA, or development aid, cannot fund gaps, the financial gaps that are needed to reach the SDGs, but we need to attract other types of capital. And in total, we know that there is sufficient funds out there, but we need to direct them towards development actions. And how do we do that? Well, a private-public development partnership can be one way, and SIDA's definition of this type of partnership is that it is a multi-stakeholder partnership where a variety of actors, such as global and local businesses, government, civil society, jointly engage in dialogue and action to solve a development challenge. In a PPDP, public and private actors co-finance and partner in a development program that is implemented by a third partner. So far, usually an NGO, a UN agency, or another actor who can ensure the engagement from essential partners in this type of partnership. And lastly, but not least, it is a risk and cost-sharing model between the engaged partners. When we work with the private sector, there are 4 principles guiding us. It's additionality, it should be catalytic, it refers to core business, and we have the cost and risk sharing component. So the additionality means that these efforts and these actions would not happen without SIDA being there. That's how we see that we are additional. It can be both in terms of content, but also financially. Catalytic means that a contribution, a financial contribution from us as a donor, will catalyze other resources, such as knowledge, innovation, but also investments and financial flows. The core business refers to the fact that SIDA's, or the country where we work, its poverty reduction objectives overlap with the core business of the private sector actors. In this particular case, for instance, it has been employment, youth employment, decent work, and increased engagement and community participation. The cost and risk sharing is really important because we see and realize that this warrants joint ownership, which has positive bearing on sustainability and better results. Here are some examples of PPDPs that SIDA supports worldwide, and it includes projects relating to women's economic empowerment, renewable energy, skills training, livelihoods, youth employment, and learning. So it's quite diverse, and we see it as a really successful model to work with. Go through this. It's a lot of text here, and perhaps it's a little bit small, but gathering experiences from our global work with this model, we conclude that the challenges has been, that things have been done in a traditional way, and it's kind of easier to do business as usual. And when you want to work in a PPDP model, there is a need for change in attitude and mindset among all stakeholders. And it takes effort and leadership to change internal structure and attitudes, and it takes leadership and effort to change, to do things differently. Traditional and sometimes, the routines and guidelines that we usually have to follow, they can be rigid in terms of programming, the agreements, the results frameworks, and so on. So that's a challenge to overcome. And the capacity can also be the challenge at the start. It takes time to design a partnership, and we will listen more to that. I think the design phase for this one took about 2 years. And trust and close collaboration is key for success. The role and perception of the private sector can also be a challenge, the on-start, if you are not used to work together. But then we have opportunities as well, of course. So opportunities can be seen in the stronger ownership in a joint effort like this. New partnerships and new roles also open doors to new opportunities. to challenge the old ways can also give room for innovation, efficiency, and new collaborations. And the new skills also open up for new opportunities. We learn, adapt, and replicate models that work. That's how we come in as a catalytic factor. And it's a partnership. So as you are in this together, you learn, you adapt, and you can replicate. And we usually say that the PPDP is in a constant design phase. It has to be relevant all the time throughout the project period to keep stakeholders on board. And for results, of course. So the main lessons learned, and this is not from only the Kenya experience, but SIDA's experience from using this model, or working according to this model in many countries, is that trust, close collaboration, and dialogue among stakeholders is key. The team must have the right competence, attitude, methods, and managerial support. And it has to be working in a collaborative, solutions-oriented, flexible, and adaptive way. And it's a partnership and not a traditional donor-funded project. And it is based on a win-win-win situation for all involved. There has to be incentives for all stakeholders. You gain and you give. And I have already mentioned the cost and risk sharing. It's based on various development analysis, and it's designed according to a bottom-up approach. We also feel that the signing of MOUs and/or letter of intents have been important to secure the commitment and then maintain the dialogue throughout the project periods. And you need to design the program or project with sustainability as the point of departure, including then the planning for the exit of the donor. So to summarize, the development of the PPDP, as it has changed from a bilateral, more traditional donor-funded projects involving private sector to a multi-stakeholder approach, where we are now. And going forward, we see that this model can be applied in many different areas, all thematic areas, in many different contexts. And that's what we aim for as an organization, but also here in country level. So my second part then of the presentation will be about our views and our experience as SIDA with regards to the PPDP that we are discussing here today on inclusive growth through decent work in the Great Rift Valley, Kenya. As you may have noticed in one of the previous slides, we do have another PPDP in the dairy value chain with other actors involved. So these are some of the things I will touch upon. And when it comes to methodology and design, I mentioned briefly that it took about 2 years. I think dialogue started already in 2016. And it was when the company Akira actually requested for a guarantee from SIDA. And we started to work along that and designing technical assistance for skills development, etc. And the communities affected by Akira's business model, they also started to request basic services. So stemming from this initial dialogue, the program was designed with a multi-stakeholder approach. And the lessons learned from the design phase was that it takes a lot longer time to design an intervention with bottom-up approach, and that involves many different stakeholders. We also lost staff during the design phase, and as mentioned previously, it was very time and resource consuming, and something that we have learned was that we should have allowed for a budgeted inception phase, which wasn't the case when we started this. So that's a lesson learned for us. When it comes to the partnership, the choice of implementing partners is of course important, and Forum Civ and Akira had already been collaborating and was in dialogue, and ILO showed an interest and a willingness to think new and try an innovative approach and develop the method underway. So we entered into a partnership, as has been described here by previous speakers. The challenges when entering into this partnership was, issues like how do actors work together in a partnership like this. There were quite lengthy and tough negotiations. I wasn't part of it, but I've been told it was like that. Which agreement structure should we use? How do we budget for overhead costs, etc.? Communities were initially a bit reluctant towards what was called Western concepts. There was also some tension, as I have been told, and also county governments were not used to the cost-sharing idea. But being where we are today, we conclude that it was worth the long process and hard efforts to create the conditions for building a sustainable program, both in terms of ownership and financially. And we will hear more about the results. A final result evaluation of this first phase has just been concluded and will be presented later on during this forum. But already in 2021, a midterm evaluation confirmed positive impact on effective households' lives and the communities, including change in attitudes and norms. And we also know, and we have heard that from previous speakers, that skills training and employment opportunities have also been important results from this first phase. The lessons learned are, of course, that flexibility and adaptability is crucial. It's important to be relevant all the time. Something that hasn't been mentioned so far, but that I want to stress, is that the demand and market-driven curricula for skills training is a success factor. And I hope to have some testimonies from the private sector actors here, present here, that being involved in the curricula design is also important, so that trained youth and others have the required skills, so that they become relevant when applying for jobs. And a PPDP is in a constant design phase. It should be open to needs and demands. And a couple of examples are the adult literacy programs and the Suswa water projects, for instance, that now have materialized. Challenges, of course. We don't do anything like this without challenges. And the COVID has, of course, been a challenge, but it also created opportunities. The water scarcity did affect women's participation in the program, and then the timing of certain contribution has also been a challenge, of course. Sustainability. We design a PPDP with sustainability as a point of departure, and that's why an exit strategy should be built in and discussed from the start. In this particular project, the aim has been that there should be a continued and increased cost sharing, and that SIDA's contribution should decrease over time, attaining a 50% by the end of the program, which now is June 2023. We are not there yet for various reasons that we have accepted, but it's going to in the right direction. We also see, given the overall global challenge, of course, with environment and climate change, but also the particular context of these two counties, that environment, climate change, and biodiversity can and should definitely be strengthened as a component and also as integrated into a program going forward. So looking ahead, which I think is of interest to most of us here, is that the planning for phase 2 is actually in the making. It's likely to include expansion to more communities and VTCs in the counties where the program operates right now. There is a wish to replicate the model in 1 or 2 additional counties in future. A stronger SRHR component is wished for and also integrated in the program, as is the integration of environment, climate change and biodiversity. And we need to have a clear exit strategy, which then includes stronger financial and in-kind commitments from involved partners. And I have come to the end of my presentations, but I would like to conclude by saying that the PPDP project, this one, is one example in which governments, private sector actors, development agencies, civil society and communities all have joined forces and worked towards the goals achievement according to a model that has been a win-win situation for all. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank all partners involved for their commitment and contributions to the projects throughout the project period. A special thank you goes to Nakuru and county governments for their financial and in-kind contributions to the project. And we thank the private sector actors for their contribution to the project, be it in terms of valuable internship, financials, and in-kind contributions. And we thank you, concerned and affected communities, for being engaged and always being so welcoming when we come and visit. And lastly but not least, I also want to extend a big thank you and appreciation to ILO and Forum Civ, our agreement and implementing partners, who patiently and with great engagement have coordinated and worked tirelessly to keep the project on track, even through uncertain times like the COVID pandemic. So by that, I say thank you.
Thank you so much. Let us appreciate Lena. I was telling Titus, my co-MC, that when Annika stood, there's something she said and was asked by our labor commissioner. So she alluded to that. And when Lena stood, indicated where we need to focus. Jackson, did you get that? So we have a promising phase 2. You clap for yourselves. Thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate Lena and Annika, sincerely appreciate. And also, Excellencies, we will not tire also to continuously brief your office on a periodic basis on what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to request that we take a break, do late tea break for around, I need consensus, how many minutes? Now it's 16 minutes past noon. I'm being told for 20 minutes. Is that okay? 20. So if by 20 minutes, if you are signaled by any of our colleagues or the staff, yes. If you are signaled by any of our colleagues and you're not done with tea, kindly come with it. The session that is coming after tea break is also equally important, because now that's where we'll see the reflection where DGs were saying that they want to see, and our Labor Commissioner, JC, Jackson, Federation of Kenya Employers, our SG, from CIV, and Caro, where have we been and how this journey has been. So as the rest of the team walks out, I am requested by our media team to kindly request DGs and Excellencies, DGs, Annika Lena, Caroline Juki, Mheshimiwa, Bor and SG, Eric, our Labor Commissioner, JC and Jackson, you join me here for one group photo. The rest, let us walk out. You'll be shown by our colleagues, ushers. They're outside there waiting for you. Let us take tea, interact quickly, and when you are signaled to come, kindly just carry your tea and come back to the room so we can continue. Asanteni sana. Enjoy your tea. The technical team kindly assist us here.
Kwa majina langu ni Mary Kipenjo. Wasasi wangu wakunisomesha mimi. Sikukuwa najua kuandika, sijui hata kusoma ati 50 ni nini. Najua tu 50 nikiona kwa macho, lakini kuandika 50 sijui. Nilikuwa tu nasungusha nikiuza mandazi, lakini sikukuwa najua kupangia maneno. Nilikuwa nimefanya kazi kampuni fulani, nikawekewa pesa kwa simu. Nilikuwa nataka kutumia bwana yangu hiyo pesa. Nilituma wrong number. Hiyo pesa yote akaenda pyu 14,000. Wakati nilikuja kujua mafunzo, niliingia hiyo mafunzo. Saa hii mimi najua tu nikituma pesa, kwanza nasoma jina kabla hiyo pesa hajaenda, nasoma ni jina fulani ndio hii pesa anaenda. Nikitumiwa najua ni fulani amenitumia. Watoto saa hii wakiniletea results yao, mtoto hawezi kunidanganya. Mimi mama nilikuwa number 1 na labda alikuwa number 15. Siku hizi mpaka vijana wangu wananitesi, wananitumia message. Najua kuandika, huyu amechukua mandazi ya 50. Sasa nikisahau, nikiangalia kwa hii kitabu yangu, najua fulani ako na pesa fulani amechukua tarehe fulani. Niliuza hizi mandazi yangu, hii mandazi anasomesha watoto. Nilifungua biashara ingine juu ya hizi mandazi. Nimetoka kwa nyumba ya matope, niko nyumba ya mabati. Ya soko nikipata kitu kidogo huko, nachanganya na ya mandazi, nanunua mabati, nanunua simiti, naona nyumba ndio ile naendelea kujenga. Mtoto wangu saa hii analala kwa mattress. Niko na shukrani kwa kampuni ya Faramsi. Tukipata hii yani kampuni atusongeshe tena mwaka zingine, naona tutakuwa na mabadiliko mengi zaidi kushinda hapa.
that work. Then we come to, so the two are by ILO. So the third one is by Forum Civ. And the expertise I was talking about in terms of improved community participation in lobbying for increased access to public and social services, and duty bearers accountability is providing social services. We approached this outcome, colleagues, in 3 blocks in terms of looking at capacity development, looking at granting. The capacity development is where the model, Secretary General Forum Civ spoke about the very innovative, easy, engaging tool we are calling Rights Way Forward program, Rights Way Forward approach that we have used to engage in terms of empowering the community to get to know their rights and how to engage duty bearers in lobbying for their rights in a constructive way. And this is also the same block that we did adult literacy, and we have partners from the Ministry of Education who supported us in this. The networking and advocacy, this is where we did most of the policies, including DG Nakuru, the enterprise bill, the enterprise policy that we did for Nakuru County Government, which bore fruit to the partnership which is finalized with the KCB Foundation. Am I right, Director? Yes. So this is the Rights Way Forward program that I'm talking about. You may not be visible, but it indicates how the process goes, and then eventually we come up with community action plans where they have identified priority areas and what they want to be done in a given period of time. And so in output number 1, in terms of looking at improved community capacity to lobby, we were targeting to have 1,100 community members trained on this on the rights using this particular tool approach, but instead we did 1,596. The disaggregation of the data is there. Community action plans I've mentioned, which were developed, which showed us what the community wants the county government, partners, private sector, national government to do for them and to help or to work with them to achieve. Then we had targeted to have 40 community action plans. Instead, we did 69 community action plans and initiatives developed. I will this one go each and give you impact because it's now focusing on community. So the impact of that is that knowledge, attitude, practice, data show marked improvement in community awareness levels in community decision-making spaces, and our community is one being admired by many of those who are discussing policy, especially matters to do with public participation, because they can articulate issues clearly. And so that is shown in terms of data for both Suswa and Raplands. We have this data in our midterm evaluation. And then still on the same outcome, to create dialogue platforms for participation in county governance decision-making spaces, and this is where we have in the county discussions of public participation and the rest. So proposals presented to duty bearers. We had, from the action plans, we had targeted to have 30 proposals presented to duty bearers. That's the government or the duty bearers. But we did 46. In terms of decision-making spaces, we had a target of 8 decision-making spaces whereby we can engage the duty bearers. We did 23 instead. In terms of dialogue platforms between rights holders and duty bearers, when we are talking about rights owners, is the community, are the people, the power. When you talk about duty bearers, it's us, the government, the church, any leadership. And so instead of doing 15, we achieved 25. Impacts of that is that this particular dialogue for change champions, we have dialogue for change champions and dialogue forums are now prominent. And Your Excellency, from DG from Narok, you can attest to this when they came to request His Excellency whether he can move the clinic from where it was or move the police, because they were all in the same place, and the community chief were not feeling comfortable going to seek health support where we have the police. And that, in terms of that kind of dialogue, then His Excellency, the Governor for Narok, acted, and now the community needs have been met. In terms of community action plans, which I've been talking about to improve access to public and social services implemented, so we had a target of 38 projects to be implemented. We did 38. So we have some which are ongoing. This is where we are putting the outstanding October 2022, because we have a final evaluation which we are supposed to report for the entire project period. Its impact is that persistent lobby by the community, and I've mentioned an example, engagement of duty bearers, a good understanding of county government planning processes, in terms of the community getting to know what is the planning cycle, what they are required to do, and well-established relationship between the communities and duty bearers. So then we don't have any fights. And I don't want to brag on behalf of all of you, but those of us who are here when we started the project, you remember Kengen used to have constant challenges with the community before 2018. Tell me whether we have any challenge since then, because the community can engage, the investors can engage, the government can engage anybody in a very constructive way, seeking a solution to challenges that they are facing. Then almost coming to the end of the outcome presentation, communities are capacitated to conduct social audit. This is in terms of the numbers of community trained on social auditing. We are targeted to train 60, so then they can be equipped with the skills in terms of also following, tracking the targets or the promises given to them. We did 71 of them. The social audit initiatives out of the training, we had targeted to do 4. However, we did 2. And this also can be explained by the COVID pandemic and also the change of government now, since we have a new government. So in terms of also engaging them constructively. In terms of this, just 2 of the planned community-led social audits were completed, targeting quality of health, provision services at SUSWA, I've mentioned that, and Raplan's welfare, DG. And we have also, the government did some stalls. So probably very soon, when we put our heads together and resources, we can have that market start. And the community from Raplan's, instead of going to SUSWA for market, they can be doing market in Raplan's. Impact of this, I've mentioned that as I was making the presentation. So the only key one that I want to mention is the ratio of women and men in decision-making spaces. So the target was, we have a ratio to be 36, to be 40 in terms of 18 in Narok, 18 in Narok, 27 in Nakuru, based on the community action plans which we were implementing. However, we managed to have 39, slightly to 40, whereby we are increasing the number, the ratio of women who are participating in decision-making spaces. We have a lady, I can't remember which county, who has been, I think it's in Nakuru, who has been championed by, who is being supported by the husband and the community elders to be in the bursary committee. Which one is CDF committee in Nakuru? Where is she? Raise up your hand, we see you. So then I'm talking, yes, ma'am. Yeah, she's in the CDF, Narok, sorry, CDF, that's why she was not standing. She's in the CDF committee. And those of us who know the history of the community, which we are talking about, we know that predominantly leadership and ownership of property is by men. But now we can see them giving space to women to take up leadership roles. Impact of that, as I've mentioned, so 79 of the sample respondents have participated in community meetings, and these are the women on social audit, social services provision, and much details can be given on the same. Still in the same outcome, participation in county budgeting processes has risen to 52% in terms of the numbers that we have, our community members going in terms of these public participation forums, processes. And in the past 2 years, as compared to just 23 when we were starting, when we were doing the midterm review of the project. Then finally, initiatives, outcome 3 initiative has clarified and strengthened process and community-based structures, supporting active participation in county level processes. And we have quite a number of our community members who have been given tasks, excellencies, by the county government, either to be community champions or to be in some of these decision-making, community decision-making platforms which the county governments are running. There's this quote by this lady, and she says that earlier on we were never, we never knew anything to do with public participation, as we were not represented, and nothing in terms of development was coming our way. That's a community member from SUSWA. And that photo was taken in one of the trainings we were running. Finally, colleagues, as we come to partnerships, which is the gel, and this is what we've been discussing in terms of where we've gotten the resources for all this. First, we did a visit to Excellencies, the two governors, with Director Chibebe and Jackson. We had a meeting with Her Excellency, the Governor Nakuru, and then we also met with His Excellency Governor Narok, and they gave us their goodwill. Of course, they articulated what they'd want us to do, and through this, then it gave us the strength to go back to the discussion I was talking about. So remember, the initial story I was talking about contribution by CEDA. That's how it looked when we started. And so, like I mentioned, everybody was expected to bring their resources into this particular basket. You can see the additional on the cost extension. But to make this possible, then we created governance structure that would enable us to implement this project successfully, make partners happy and excited about contributing towards this project, but also us as the project team to account back, to establish an accountability framework back to partners. And so we created a partnership steering committee, which is chaired by the Labour Commissioner and actually the Minister of Education and the Minister of Labour, and the members of the advisory steering committee were shown to us. And I said, also CEDA sits in this particular committee, is the topmost decision-making committee, and we'll meet based on once in a year or based on the need, but we are discussing the structure moving forward, how then we can make it more effective. Because them is just to make decisions, not ad hoc meetings. But the key one is, so we have the composition of private sector, public sector, civil society and community, CEDA, ILO, and Forum Civ. Then we have this both covering also partnership advisory committee, and I want to request the chair for advisory, the co-chairs for advisory committee kindly stand. The members of the advisory committee kindly stand. Thank you. So we have Kimemia chairs, Director Kimemia chairs for on behalf of Nakuru. Waziri has been supporting us in terms of mobilization, but she's representing the office, the county, also at steering committee. We have Director Mwangi, who is in charge of also the skills. We have Director Ruto, who is the co-chair. So Narok, Nakuru co-chairs. And then we have Bedi, and we have quite a number of partners whom I can see seated, but they did not stand. But I appreciate you, you are my people. Then we created, so this partnership advisory committee meets quarterly. And what they do is to advise us, the project team, on technical basis, on technical issues, on what the partners want. And then we report back to them. So if there's any policy issue or decision-making matter that needs to be escalated to the advisory committee, now it finds itself to the committee that Jackson, JC, Lena, Labour Commissioner, and the rest sit, and then they discuss it. Then we formed two critical committees. We formed the Skills Technical Working Group, which is basically to advise the project in matters to do with the right and competency-based curriculum and demand-driven skills that we need to offer, and the county government's approach in terms of ensuring that we have the necessary skills. Kindly, could the Skills Technical Working Group stand? Yeah. So, Excellencies, the Skills Technical Working Group is co-chaired by the Federation of Kenya Employers, by Eric. Eric, raise up your hands. He's here. And then co-chaired by Tiveta, Mr. Mburu. Then now we have the principals from vocational training centers. We have Narok Water. We have Bedi and Mwangi also from, we have officials from both counties. Take your seats. Thank you so much. Then, because Lena was very clear about sustainability, since the inception, maybe we did not capture it at that level, but during the program development, then we came up with the sustainability framework. We are now finalizing the exit strategy. And so the sustainability committee is chaired by the State Department of Devolution. Kindly, the sustainability committee members stand. We have some apology, quite a number of apologies. So we have my brother John representing CBOs. We have my brother Kamau from Narok County. He is also giving us technical guidance because he's the planning unit. Then we have our chief from the community. He's a senior chief, now representing the national government. And then we have my brother Joseph Kamasei, who is he is the director. Just stand, I introduce you. He's the director in charge of programs and partnership at State Department of Devolution, and he's the one who is chairing the sustainability committee of the project. Thank you so much. So this then enables us to be at comfort zone that if the project comes to an end today, then Joseph, he can bring this to the Council of Governors, can take it to devolution and have this project anchored, the model anchored in any of the partnership structures within the government, and the partnership can continue. Someone was asking me, so today if the project comes to an end, Lena, who will be the gel? Who will be the gel? Who will be bringing people together? And I said the government, which is in charge of devolution. They have the responsibility in terms of also building the capacity of the county governments. That's the unit that will help us in ensuring that. So these are the partners we've had, quite a number, and there are others whom we are discussing to see whether we can bring them on board in the new phase if all goes well. Notably is the UNFPA from UN, and then because of the reproductive health training and the International Training Center of the ILO, which is in Turin, in terms of the building capacity. DG, we had some of the officials from your government taken to a training on how to manage vocational training centers, and so we are helping them so then that kind of training can be cascaded down to the vocational training centers. The gist of the partnership, that's where we are. So you can see yourself in terms of the contribution. So we have private sector to date have contributed the overall budget of what I was showing you at 22% total. This is both, the private sector is both financial and in-kind, but those who have contributed highest amount in terms of financial contribution is both Nakuru and Narok counties. They have contributed the highest amount financially. CEDA's contribution, like I showed you, has come down to 58% of the overall budget. Then we have Nakuru County Government and Narok. We combined the two, 19%. The national government is 0.7% because of the meetings they attend. And like, for example, we had the Ministry of Education giving us material for adult literacy education worth 1.5 million Kenya shillings. Then the community will normally quantify their contribution, because when we go to the community for training, they will cook, they will have water and all that. So we quantify that contribution because it's a partnership. We are not giving them everything. And then other partners, the UN partners, like I've mentioned. In terms of the other deliverables, so I've mentioned about the enterprise development in terms of the Nakuru Enterprise Bill. Skills development, I've spoken about the memorandums of understanding and quite a lot of work beyond what was demonstrated in outcome number 1. Functional literacy education, testimonials are coming in terms of a woman who did not know how to read and write, and now she can write her name. Integration of the cross-cutting issues. CEDA is very keen, and ILO and FORAMSIV on matters to do with climate. And we are having a deliberate intervention in terms of green transition. And we will be discussing with you how this can be done and maybe draw expertise from partners on how constructively or in a strong pillar we can ensure the issues about environment, conservation, and the entire framework of climate change is taken care of. We have quite a number of partners here. We have one of our partners who is helping us to address matters to do with disability, and this is what we have been able to do. Lessons learned, challenges. I want to say that Lena read my mind, and I want to just compliment few because she has picked some of the things, and it's because what we normally do, we normally have constant dialogue with our donor. Jackson can tell you, we normally have quite constant dialogue with our donor, and so CEDA knows what we are doing, and they are up to date on what we are doing, and we consult quite a lot, and we seek their guidance. So that's why Lena was able to pick some of the areas that we had mentioned. And so in terms of lessons, she has mentioned quite a number, but let me mention those which she did not mention, then the rest I would skip. In terms of partnership benefits, the impacts need to be visible earlier to inspire commitment. This was one lesson. We realized that the private sector would want a cost-benefit analysis to know what is it in there for me, Betty. how will I benefit when I join this particular partnership? So we need to make sure that that's very clear before we start. Involving multitude of stakeholders is essential in terms of understanding their commitment. What is their role? The terms of reference. Why am I joining this particular partnership? And what will be my role in this particular partnership? I think in terms of the time taken to prepare PPDPs, Lena has mentioned that, so I will not spend much time on this. And it's one of the lessons that we have picked, that it's very critical for us as partners, as project team, to understand the needs of our partners before we start or before we engage further. Then we can speak to their needs and they will commit themselves to the project. Lena mentioned this is not a conventional project, unfortunately, where we are getting 100% funding and we start the project. This is a catalytic support, where we give you some support and you complement. And basically, you'll agree with me, what we've been doing is just building on either the CIDPs or the national development frameworks and implementing that jointly with you. These others have been mentioned by Lena, so I'll not spend time on that. Challenges, traditional ways and sometimes rigid ways of programming. So we are looking at can we have the memorandums of understanding? Can we have the legal framework documents done this way? Can we wait for this to be done? Budgets, logical framework, and the reporting framework. Every partner has their own way of looking to things. And so we had to ensure that all of us, we speak to the aspiration of every partner to ensure that all of you are on board. An expected pandemic, of course, that made us discuss with the CEDA, and we did the reprioritization of the project activities, hence now delayed the delivery, and we lost some of the good gains that we had in before COVID period. Long process in terms of developing or securing partnership. Delay, and this we cannot blame the county governments, because the national government, the county governments will make commitments, but it will be delayed before, the funds will be delayed in terms of release before they get to the county government. And also that would, in a way, though they want to honor their commitment, delay the promises and intervention of the project activities. So when we started also, we had a very huge ambition in terms of developing curriculum. We realized that curriculum in Kenya takes long, more than 5 years. So what we did, we resorted to review the curriculum. And now since we know, and we have identified structures that we can work with, then it's a bit easier for us to engage in terms of the curriculum review or curriculum development. We still have a challenge in terms of our attachees and students to access internship. For example, we might have a company that has very nice materials, very nice machines like Centum in Nairobi, but students cannot go to Nairobi because they cannot access or they cannot have money to go there. And so this is also an area that we are trying to raise more partnerships, so then we can have them facilitated. Initially, Akira was funding scholarships, but that came to an end. And so this is what we are calling PPDP, and that has been the journey. Thank you so much. So I request that we have the voices, the beneficiary voices played, 3 of them. So once we play one, then Titus, come here to assist me in terms of giving a brief about the voices. And then after that, then we'll break for lunch. Abdul, are we good? Okay. You can start with the first one.
I'm not sure I can sing or I can coordinate a choir like Isaac can. But as we wait for that, do you have any quick reaction as we wait for the videos to come live? Okay. So have you patented the song, or I can continue? Row, row, row your boat gentle down. I think I can try and have. So this row says, row, row, row your boat. Then this goes gentle down the stream. Life is butter. Yeah, let's go. Row, row, row your boat. Yeah? You hear where the tones are, eh? So please up your game. Voice, bass up. We have a challenge with bass here. Abdul, make my work easy. Ayaro. All right. I think technology is not doing us justice, but some of the videos we'll watch are testimonials from the community in terms of how, because all the results that we have seen here should be able to translate into people's lives, and they should be able to see changes in terms of money in their pocket, better access to services, and that's what we'll be hearing from the community participants. And just to mention, Isaac, if you allow me, we also, one of the approaches we use under outcome 3 is granting. So some of the exhibitions you've seen there are from CBOs, some of them who had never gotten funding before and were funded through the PPDP project and now are getting funds from other partners. So, sorry, I'm still trying to buy time. I think I know the older generation was well placed with, our generation is more with Baby Shark, so I'm not sure that will fit very well in this forum. But should we skip that session? 1 minute. Okay. Hey. I'll try to be an innovative co-MC. I know the chair partnership advisory committee was not able to introduce himself, so maybe we can take the time to allow him to do that.
I need protection. So good morning, everyone. Well, I come from a community. If you have not taken lunch, it's still a morning. Eh? After lunch, then it becomes an afternoon. Eh? So I'm Kimemia Josephat. I'm from Nakuru County.
Kwa majina langu ni Mary Kipenjo. Wasasi wangu wakunisomesha mimi. Sikukuwa najua kuandika. Sijui hata kusoma ati 50 ni nini. Najua tu 50 nikiona kwa macho, lakini kuandika 50 sijui. Nilikuwa tu nasungusha nikiuza mandazi, lakini sikukuwa najua kupangia maneno. Nilikuwa nimefanya kazi kampuni fulani, nikawekewa pesa kwa simu. Nilikuwa nataka kutumia bwana yangu hiyo pesa. Nilituma wrong number. Hiyo pesa yote akaenda pyu 14,000. Wakati nilikuja kujua mafunzo, niliingia hiyo mafunzo. Saa hii mimi najua tu nikituma pesa, kwanza nasoma jina kabla hiyo pesa hajaenda. Unasoma ni jina fulani ndio hii pesa anaenda. Nikitumiwa najua ni fulani amenitumia. Watoto saa hii wakiniletea results yao, mtoto hawezi kunidanganya. Mimi mama nilikuwa number 1 na labda alikuwa number 15. Siku hizi mpaka vijana wangu wananitesi, wananitumia message. Najua kuandika huyu amechukua mandazi ya 50. Sasa nikisahau, nikiangalia kwa hii kitabu yangu najua fulani ako na pesa fulani amechukua tarehe fulani. Niliuza hizi mandazi yangu, hii mandazi anasomesha watoto. Nilifungua biashara ingine juu ya hizi mandazi. Nimetoka kwa nyumba ya matope, niko nyumba ya mabati. Ya soko nikipata kitu kidogo huko, nachanganya na ya mandazi, nanunua mabati, nanunua simiti, naona nyumba ndio ile naendelea kujenga. Mtoto wangu saa hii analala kwa mattress. Niko na shukrani kwa kampuni ya Faramsi. Tukipata hii yani kampuni atusongeshe tena mwaka zingine, naona tutakuwa na mabadiliko mengi zaidi kushinda hapa.
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Peter Moseka. Currently nafanya na KenGen kwa department ya drilling. I'm working as a raceabout. Nilipata sponsor nikaenda Mirara Polytechnic where nilienda nikafanya course ya mechanic, of which in the field I'm working now of drilling is not that much far. Now kutoka hapo nilienda nikafanikiwa nikapata tu hustle, nilikuwa nafanya mechanic. After hiyo mechanic yangu ndio nikapata KenGen. I can as well work kama pikipiki yangu hapa na isafungua peke yangu, naifanyia service. Tulifunzwa maneno ya how to start your business. Ilikuwa inaitwa business idea. Kuna ingine how to generate your business idea. Singeweza kujua hata dawa ya kupatia ng'ombe ni gani. Sikujua ati ni breed gani inataka hii. Nikafunzwa sio ng'ombe zote huwa zinauzwa ati juu ya maziwa. Kuna ile ng'ombe ya maziwa, kuna ng'ombe ya nyama hivyo. Na kutoka hiyo mafunzo nilielewa ya kwamba mtu anaanzisha biashara. There before sikukuwa na nyumba, and as you can see mimi niko na nyumba yangu. Pia sikukuwa na means ya transport, nimeanza kujinunulia pikipiki nilikuwa na mifugo wachache, of which nilikuwa na mifugo 4. Now niko na ng'ombe 30. Sikukuwa hata kwanza na mke. And as we talk now, niko na bibi na mtoto mmoja. Pia kikazi niko na wafanyikazi watu 5. Mimi kwa sahi na support wa brother zangu watu 3 and 2 sisters. For the coming 5 years, I'm planning. Sasa mandugu zangu hao wengine wataenda university. Pia nitakuwa na pesa ya kuinua nayo biashara.
The community who could have did that course through the PPD.
Kwa majina naitwa Mary Ngisongoi. Mimi ni facilitator wa Lwasheki Village. Hatukuwa na nafasi ya kuruhusiwa wakina mama wakutanane kama vikundi waongee mambo yao bila kujulisha wazee ni nini. Mama hawezi akauza ng'ombe, hawezi akauza mahindi kama hii. Kwanza nisema kwa hii area yetu, juu hatuna nafasi tunafanya, tunabaki manyumbani, tunashughulika kushunga na kupeleka mbuzi ama ng'ombe kwa maji. Tunakaa kwa kijiji kama hapa kwangu, hatujui tukisanyanika ni nini hasa tutaweza kufanya kwa sababu hatu kujua haki yetu.
Kwa herufi kubwa itakuwa harusi, ha. Kisha mwingine ajaribu kwa herufi kubwa.
Tulipata elimu inaitwa masomo ya watu wazima. Wakina mama wakajiunga na darasa, tukakuwa tunaelimishwa, tunapata malimu. Tulipata malimu kutoka kwa hii kampuni ya DPP kwa hii mradi. Sasa tulipenya kupata nafasi ya kuingia kwa Ngumbaru na tukapata nafasi ya kupenya kwenda kwa mabiashara. Nikienda hii biashara yangu, najua kubudget, najua kuweka hakiba yangu ya kufanya hii kazi yangu iende mbele. Tulisanyanika kama group ya wakina mama. Tukaanza kutengeneza kitu inaitwa merigorao. Mama akuja na 50 ama 100 kwa kila mama. Kila Alhamisi tukitoka kwa soko, tusanye pesa. Kila mtu akuja na 100 na 100. Tukisanya tujue ni ngapi. Hii 100 tupatie mama fulani. Siku ya soko akikuja Alhamisi nyingine, atatuletea hiyo pesa, tutaweka kwa kila 100 tuweke shilingi 20. Akija hiyo ndiyo faida, atuletee hiyo pesa tupatie ule mama mwingine. Nikamwambia ninataka leo nikamue ng'ombe ya mama. Na saa hivi mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu kwa hii area yetu mimi ni shaledi na mama. kati tulikaa na wao nikiwa facilitator, tukaambia naye mama ako na uwezo ya kuleta pesa kuingiza kwa boma ya kusomesha ama ya chakula. Tukapata nafasi, saa tuko huru kabisa. Kila mama anaenda biashara yake, shughuli yake ya biashara, na anaingia na mapato yake. Kikuta kama boma kama zile siko pale, tulianza tu juzi kujenga manyumba, wakina mama wanajenga kubandilisha. Sasa hatukai vile tulikuwa tunakaa, kwa sababu wewe ni mzee unashunga boma, saa nyingine uko kwa ile boma. Kwa saa hii nikiwa facilitator nimekuwa msaada kubwa kwa wakina mama, kwa sababu mimi
in the morning we try to get an external person to take these stories for us, so then they come automatically, they come in originality. And so this is the kind of story we have. We have young people, leave alone this one who is getting a wife and more families. We have another one who is earning even more than some of our vocational training center instructors. And isn't that true principle? Yes, and we know that, courtesy of the project. So any question, any reaction before we break for lunch? I know people are tired. Great. It's 2 p.m. And I want to kindly request that we break for lunch for 1 hour up to 3. What will happen is that the afternoon sessions will be a bit brief. We'll discuss with the team. We'll make them very brief so then you can catch up with the time. But again, not to make them brief, we lose the objectivity of the program. My administrative team, guidance on lunch, Mercy? Anika is saying no lunch. Yes, Anika. Anika, something to say?
Thank you. No, I just wanted to say before my dear colleague Lena and I have to depart after lunch that I think I want to give very much credit to ILO and to FormCiv to have been able to organize this event so far, because I think it's very difficult to get all the people on board, everybody to come here, even though it's a very nice place, and we would all love to stay here for a week. There are so many representatives from different parts of these counties and also from the government and different sectors, and I think that is extremely important when we want to work together. I would also like us to increase even more so perhaps the focus and the employability within the green job sector could be related to nature conservation, improved livelihoods, or tourism, as well as the green sector within industry. But I think that is where the future is, and I think that these two counties, perhaps together with Kajiado, have an incredible opportunity when it comes to creating these jobs, but it is also such a responsibility from the county governments and the private sector to ensure that these jobs are not created to worsen or to make the situation more difficult for people or the wildlife, because that will also be so important when it comes to the tourism sector in the future, but also the possibility of getting carbon credits. So good luck, and I really look forward to working together with you. And we should not forget the sector of pollution and waste management. That could also be an important part of ensuring that these two counties are, nice to live in, but also attract people from everywhere to come and see what you have to offer in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anika and Lena. Lena, you want to say anything, or we are good? Thank you so much. We wish you a safe journey. As we had agreed, I will avail a live link. So if you want to check in and follow what we are doing today and tomorrow, then that will be done. DG, we are with you. Thank you so much. It's a blessing. Asanteni sana. So can I pray for your lunch? Great, let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you, Father, because of the session that we had since morning up to this hour. And now we are breaking, Father, for lunch. We commit our dear ones who are traveling back to Nairobi, Anika and Lena, that, Father, you protect them, Father, and you also bless the lunch that we are about to take. And when we come back and continue, we finish with your presence, we shall honor your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you so much. Let us, our colleagues will show you as you walk out. I think there are meal cards, and we proceed all the way to the lunch place. One hour. Yeah, we are coming back at 3. Enjoy your lunch hour starts now.